Thanks for taking your time out of your day today and joining us online for kind of a quick about 20-minute walkthrough of our partnership between BSN Cloud and Carousel. Obviously, we're very excited about the new tool set that Brightside's been working on really hard for a long time. And so without kind of further ado, I'll just jump in and sort of walk through the story. And what we're talking about today really is leveraging Control Cloud. So Control Cloud with Carousel Cloud. And first, I just want to cover really quickly devices and setups. We actually have a whole 20-minute video on our website that walks through all of the steps of creating a device setup, doing device provisioning, and getting it out to the displays in a real detailed manner. For today, I'm just going to, at a high level, talk conceptually and then jump into a little bit of the Carousel story for you. And so the deployment walkthrough really looks a lot like this, where we're going to create a device setup for Carousel Cloud. What we start with is a device setup. So you go ahead and click on Device Setup in BSN Cloud, and that will bring you to the next page where typically you're going to set up your network properties. And so you'd go in, and if it's DHCP, it's pretty straightforward. And then we're going to jump to this next screen, and this is really where kind of most people have the question of how do we connect these two things together. So all of your device settings and all of those things, the typical BSN Cloud way. And then for Carousel, what you're going to do is you're actually going to go down and you're going to complete this custom application URL. And where you find that custom application URL is actually within the Carousel interface. So in Carousel, under Settings and Player Setup, you see this nice big bright sign picture, and you click on that, and it brings you to this screen that says, hey, here's how you can sign up for BSN Cloud, and here's a knowledge base around how to do all of the stuff that I'm kind of flying through here at the moment. But then there's this really cool URL sitting there that says, here's the server. I'm going to grab that URL and I'm going to paste it into my device setup. And that is going to be the same URL for all of your players. So you can create a device setup if it's your standard wired DHCP. That's the one device setup you're going to push to all your players, and they're going to start playing content. Next, we're going to move into kind of this applying Carousel Cloud device setups. So again, you'd simply go back into BSN Cloud and apply your setup to all of your applicable devices by serial number. So if these are all, again, wired DHCP, go ahead and apply that setup to all those, and you'll get this handy dandy little pop-up here, and you can pick which setup you want to apply. If you have a wireless one, obviously you can name it wireless or something else and go ahead and apply that setup to those groups of players as well. And then the bright sign player is going to start booting up. We're all familiar with this screen. And then next, what you'll see on the screen is registering your player. So this is obviously to protect, since it's Carousel Cloud, we don't want anybody in the world just being able to point a player at a server. So this is very similar to what you'd expect with your other devices that you've certified online, even for personal use, or like your Roku player, those types of things. And so you'll get this 4-digit code, or you can scan this code to register your player in Carousel. And how you'd actually register it in Carousel Cloud is you would jump into the Carousel Cloud server, again under player setup, and you do player registration. You type in the 4-digit code, submit the code, and now the player's online. And what's cool is what you'll see when that player's online is you'll actually see this congrats, you've successfully connected your player to your account. So it gives you this nice confirmation that now you're talking to Carousel Cloud, and away you go. And the great thing about this is that now in Carousel Cloud, you're actually setting up all of the content that will be played through a channel. And so we'll kind of talk about the Carousel experience here. If you've not ever seen Carousel Cloud before, it's a very straightforward experience. What I would do is I would start by actually selecting the zone I'm going to create my content in, and I would click on New Bulletin. So I'm going to create a new bulletin, new slide, whatever term you might use or are familiar with. We call them bulletins. We've been doing this for like 20 years, and we just made it up back then, and we stuck with it. So that's our only reason for calling them bulletins. And when I go in, I click on New Bulletin, I get some template choices that are very specific to the zone that I'm creating my content in. And I can pick some templates, or I could pick some dynamic content that I might want to schedule, like a clock or event schedule, or maybe schedule a live video stream or an RSS feed. And Twitter, weather, all those types of things are the types of content that I can schedule. I would jump in and start typing my content. When I type in the bulletin title, for example, in this template, it's going to render on the left-hand side of the screen in real time, so I can kind of see what my bulletin looks like. I can go edit the layout, all those types of things. I can create new templates and share out to my users, and I can actually even, with every one of these things, control the parameters that people are allowed to change. Can they change the background or the font or the color of the text or the size and all those types of things? In a little bit, I'm going to move into who the type of customer we really have designed Carousel for. And we've given you a lot of tools to make it really simple to create this piece of content and control kind of how it looks and feels. So the fundamental difference, I believe, within Carousel versus some of the other products you might find out there is we've taken an approach where we actually uniquely schedule every piece of content. So now you can vary each thing that you want to show up by which time. It also allows us to do content approval workflow. And so if I want to create and post this message, I can have my supervisor approve it, and it can decide, you can schedule for weeks ahead of time where you want this content to land. You can also use tags to decide where else it should go. And so if I want to push it to my other 30 branches or my other 30 clinics or whatever type of environment or other corporate campuses within geographies, you can use different tagging to push the same piece of content out. And you could also require approval on all of those things. With that, if I create this piece of content and I schedule it and I hit publish, if I have permission, it'll just pop right out in the system. If I don't, then it's going to go to my supervisor and they're going to be able to review it. And ultimately, it's going to land in my bulletins. And so these are my active ones right now. You'd see that I could see unapproved or other things. But basically, this is the dynamic playlist that's going to play within this zone based on a schedule. And so that's really quick, just kind of touching on what Carousel's experience is like, what the user interface looks like, and why we approach signage the way that we do. And so with that, what I'd like to do is kind of talk for a moment about the perfect Carousel customer. The challenge in digital signage with CMS is that there's so many applications for digital signage, and I think some of us as content partners do really well in some, and we're not as strong in others. And we'd obviously love to say that we're the best fit for every customer, but that's just not the reality. And so I wanted to give you all kind of just a quick talk track on what we believe the perfect Carousel customer is, because ultimately we all want people that are really happy with the product that we sell into them. And with the BrightSign hardware, it is a reliable, very robust platform. No problem making people happy on the hardware side, but ultimately their experience is with the software. And so for us, there's really three key markets that we really focus on. We're certainly in many other markets, but we find that our story and the tool set that we've created lends itself really well to the K-12 education space, to the higher education space, and to the corporate communication space. And the reason for that really is again, the way that you can create the content and decentralize the contribution of content. So you can get lots of users creating content because you have content approval workflows and scheduling. You can allow lots of people to contribute. And you can decide where all that content goes, whether it's across multiple higher ed campuses or across a K-12 school district or some of our large international corporate customers that are pushing content worldwide in different languages and those types of things. Our tool set just lends really well to those types of environments. You'll see on here, we're not talking specifically about retail customers. Again, we have retail customers, and depending on the type of retail, it might make sense for them, but really these are the strongest markets for us. And so if you think about the type of customer that might be collaborating a lot in the environments that they would find themselves, again, a corporate campus or a higher ed campus and a K-12 school district or in a classroom, that's really where we find Carousel lending itself from a tool set perspective. Digital signage is becoming more and more useful. The story is becoming very powerful, and the ability to deploy lots and lots of signage players with BSN Cloud and manage them and do all the updating and things remotely, especially in bulk, is huge, because we're seeing, really nice large player counts being deployed. And the more that we can make that deployment really efficient and manage the fleet sort of ongoing and add players as customers are growing in all parts of the world with the tool set that these two tools offer us, is really powerful. So we're really excited to kind of see that. And what I want to leave you with is the other things that kind of go around. Hey, there's this BSN Cloud thing, there's this Carousel Cloud product, and here's this experience that's really important. But then there's a few other things that are really critical to the customer's success itself. And what we've really focused on is making it pretty economical for people to get up and running with branded channels. And so certainly there's a lot of free templates, and users can download whole channels. If you can go on our website, you'll find that there's a whole set of channels, content that they can load up with templates that help them start looking great. But a lot of customers will find for not a lot of money, they can get a whole custom branded look with their colors and their logo. And it's just a great way to get a customer started off on the right foot. It's just a click, it's a double click installer. Now they've got all their content, their templates, and their look that they want, and it's ready to roll. And that's really been a big value to our customers. I found that the resellers that we work with that leverage custom branded channels, we find their customers seem to be quite a bit happier when they start. Secondly, I want to highlight Carousel Academy, which really is our online training, and it's fully online training with clickable examples and all this type of stuff. And the online training goes from straight up just user experience to administrators to like the really technical people. So there's actually quite a few levels of training available through Carousel Academy. And also, if you happen to be CTS certified, you can get certified CTS credits. We have a whole track in Carousel Academy for that. So, and again, because we're a decentralized CMS where we're trying to empower lots of users, it's important that those users understand how to use the tool, because you don't want the IT people freaking out that they're going to have to train all these people, especially now, right? Like, we're in an environment where adding anything to IT personnel is really difficult. And so I wanted to highlight Carousel Academy, and then again on the far side of the screen here, support packages. And those are pretty standard. I just want to highlight that. But we do have free support, but then we also have the ability to purchase enhanced support contracts. And so that's really very, very quickly kind of the Carousel story with BSN Cloud. And again, what I want to mention is on our website, there are lots and lots of resources around what is the corporate story, what is the K-12 story as you're talking to your customers. And under resources and videos specifically, there is as I mentioned at the top of the hour here, there is a 20-minute video that goes in a very deep dive into what is BSN Cloud, how do you do device setups, how do you apply them to Carousel, what is the value of all of those. And so if you're on this call and you haven't really had a lot of experience using BSN Control Cloud, it would be a great 20-minute video for you to kind of dive in. John Riley from our team does a great job of kind of walking through all the screenshots of both products. So I really want to encourage you on that. But there's also other videos here that are talking about the latest features that we're rolling out with Carousel Cloud and BrightSign, and sort of stories around case studies and all those types of things. And so I just want to encourage you to leverage our website in that way. So thank you very much for joining me today, and let me know if you got questions, and our team is ready to work with you. Thanks a lot, and I hope you have a great day.